Hello and welcome to Current Issues with me, Tarun. Even after the introduction of mechanism of third-party sampling on the quality of coal, even the Power Ministry has raised questions many times over multiple grade slippages in the coal being supplied by Coal India Limited to NTPC's power plants. The same problem is suffered on a large scale by the private sector too. Under the gross calorific value, or the GCV system as it's called, grade slippages up to 7 grades have been observed. To put in simple words, companies pay for a better quality of coal but are being provided a much inferior quality of coal. To discuss the issue, present with me in the studio are former Coal Secretary Alok Partiji, Upendra Kumarji, his advisor, Coal SL Mining, and a veteran of the industry who's chaired coal manufacturing or coal output PSUs earlier, and Ranjeet Mehta ji is Director, PhD Chambers of Commerce in the energy and renewable energy domains. I'll start with Alok Partiji and take his opening comments on today's discussion.
I think quality of coal has been an issue with the coal companies for a very long time. And prior to 2012, January 2012, the method of assessing the coal quality was something called the UHV, or the useful heat value, as they used to. There was a different system. It was a system which used an empirical formula to derive what the useful heat value would be from moisture and few other parameters that was taken into account. But the whole problem was not limited to that. The problem was that when they made the grades, there were grades from A to G, F.
Yes.
And G was considered to be virtually dirt, not really coal. And we had these grades. The biggest problem with these grades was that the intervals were so large that you could play around with the quality of coal. And then the method by which these grades were being fixed for the mines was a process in which the coal controller, CMPDI, with the coal controller would examine coal seams and fix the grade for all times. And this was being debated for 10 years or 12 years in both in Planning Commission and other places. And 2012, the government, and I think virtually thrust it down the throat, that you should switch over to the internationally established method of grading, that is calorific value, GCV as they call it. And a time was given to the coal companies to set up the infrastructure for measurement of GCV for specific samples that could be collected. This required some switchover in terms of pricing, in terms of creating new grades. The intervals were reduced to 300 kilocalories instead of 1100, 1200, which was earlier, making it still narrower so that specific grades could be identified, tested and known. It did take some time. There was resistance both from NTPC at that time as well as from Coal India to introduce this system.
But sir, what I can make an understanding that this has remained a legacy issue in India. Grade slippages.
Grade slippages were there. You see, if you have a grade like if you're slipping from E to F, it could be a very big difference.
That's a big point you're making.
It could be a very big difference. But with GCV grading, this reduced. So what you're saying is 5 grade slippage under GCV could actually be in just 1 grade slippage under the old system.
That's a significant comment coming from me. I'm going to Upendra Kumarji for his opening comment on this discussion today.
See, I think before we pass any comments, some bare fundamentals have got to be understood. Indian coal basically is dirty. It has been formed by what is known as drift theory, right? So the plant material which has got converted into coal has come along with waste, along with muck, along with clay, and it has got deposited together. And there is no system, or there is no particular formation where the coal is distinct from stone. So when you mine the coal, the stone also comes with it. It's a natural deposit. Now see, the way out is beneficiation, so that you remove the stone and only sell coal. You see, Coal India tried, MOEF has issued a mandate It has not been successful so far, though some progress has been made. Now, even the sampling system, it says now Sinfar has given the responsibility.
The third party.
Third party.
Yes.
Now, they are themselves are not equipped.
Yes.
You take a wagon, wagon contains 60 tons of coal. Unless the sample represents the 60 tons,
yes,
it doesn't carry any meaning.
So you mean there is a lacuna here? I'm taking this as your opening comment. I'm going to Ranjeet Mehta ji. Ranjeet Mehta ji, as I said, the problem is not only of great slippages, but even after introduction of third-party sampling, these problems remain. What will be your opening comment for today's discussion?
You see, quality is very important. Until and unless you're really getting the good quality coal, it doesn't make any sense or having, having those that coal in your plants, in power plants or in your factories. The point is this: if the coal has got so much of ashes and moisture, which is the main problem in Indian conditions, in Indian coal, so I mean, it doesn't serve the purpose. This is the reason that people are still importing coal from abroad, because we don't have that kind of quality. If we have the kind of quality coal, then that is, very expensive. So here, I think that we'll have to really make sure, we have to form a committee and make sure that the quality of the coal supplied to these power plants, to the factories, the people who are buying, has to be of A1 class. Okay. Otherwise, mere supplying the quantity, in terms of quantity, it will not really solve the purpose.
Ranjeet Mehta ji, since you're talking of a committee,
yes,
ADRM, or the Additional Disputes Resolution Committee, ADRC, already exists. All the states have complained. In March, a meeting was held. I think Alok Patel is with us in the studio. He can throw light more on the committee. And then what happened? Because it's a very funny situation. One government department and one ministry is now complaining against the other. The power ministry is complaining to the coal ministry that the subsidiaries of Coal India are not supplying the kind of coal that is required. I'll just read out a few things to you. The slippages are being observed in coal supplied by CIL subsidiaries like Central Coalfields Limited, Bharat Coking Coal Limited, Eastern Coalfields Limited, Mahanadi Coalfields, to NTPC power plants including in Dadri, Badarpur, Tanda, Unchar and Korba. The problem is not only faced by NTPC, it's faced by the private sector also. Alok Patel, what would you say?
Let me put it this way, that when we realized that, in fact, realization was much earlier, that the Indian coal contains a lot of ash, but let me tell you, it doesn't contain too much of moisture. Okay. It contains ash. Yes. Moisture is basically the bane of the Indonesian coal. It's not Indian coal. Okay. The matter was put towards the power sector, and at that time the power sector opted, and with a lot of foreign collaboration, BHEL and other companies also involved, decided to build huge boilers to take bad coal. Okay. To use bad coal. Okay. And the problem arose, I would say, even to the extent that when they said that, okay, if it can't mine coal, let's import coal, they suddenly realized that since the boilers were so designed that imported good quality coal could be blended only to the extent of 10-15%. The question is not that. The question is that if you are supplying X coal, it should be of the quality that you say it is. Yes. Suppose you say it is of 4,300 kilocalorie coal, it should not be of 3,500 kilocalorie coal. This is where the problem exists. The reason why that is happening is that our systems of quality control are still extremely weak. Okay. As Mr. Kumar said, we have not been able to devise methods of collecting the correct samples. Yes. We have not been able to set up infrastructure to ensure that quality is tested at the right time and the persons are involved. Yes. We have gone to the extent of saying that we will not compensate you for any kind of degradation that takes place once you have taken the coal.
Sir, I would like to interject at this point. This is leading to a lot of disputes in the industry between
It is leading to a lot of disputes.
But sir, as somebody who sits in the secretariat in Delhi, you were somebody who chaired the ministry as secretary. Now what happens is, what you do is you appoint a company who does third-party sampling. but the problem doesn't get solved.
I'll
So
tell you
what
why
is this?
why the third party sampling problem does not get solved.
Yes,
The reason is that who is this third party?
yes,
The third party is selected by a process in which Coal India and say NTPC together decide that X will be going and testing.
yes,
What is his capability in terms of the kind of infrastructure he has and the kind of manpower he can put in,
yes,
and to understand where he has to go and do it.
yes,
If it is in a remote area, his limitations are such that he will have to depend upon the local authorities or the coal company or the managers to be able to help him to get it tested.
So what you're saying is you very well understand that this has proved to be a futile exercise.
It is turning out to be a futile
That's
exercise.
a very important point you're making.
In fact, what is needed is that I would say that what Mr. Kumar said was that Environment Ministry, if it is really serious, it enforces it that coal of a certain quality can move out of the mine and nothing more.
Okay.
And do it with a hammer, for
Yes.
instance, without
That's an
any
important point. I'm going to
reluctance.
Upendra Kumar.
Then you will see the improvement coming
Okay,
up.
I'm going to Upendra Kumarji. Sir, before seeking your comment, 2 interviews. Recently when I interviewed Coal Secretary Anil Swarupji, he said that we will ensure that grade slippages are a thing of the past and a third party sampling agency has been appointed. In a media comment parallelly from Calcutta, Coal India Limited chairman also said that we will ensure that grade slippages are a thing of the past, it no more will happen. Now what happens is after these announcements are made, same problems are being faced, and it's not the private sector who's themselves facing the problem. One government department, the power department, is now complaining to the coal department that our PSUs are suffering. So it's a government problem, and private sector is anyways getting crushed. So where do you see the solution?
It's not only private sector,
Yes.
public sector is also facing the problem. But like I said, unless you go to the root of the problem, these superficial methods will not do.
Yes.
The root of the problem, you have to accept that Indian coal is by nature dirty.
Yes.
You have to accept that Indian coal is banded.
Yes.
You see, if the coal is banded,
Yes.
in a sample which is weighs 1 kg,
Yes.
if one piece of a stone comes,
Yes.
the result goes haywire.
Yes. So
Now, how to ensure that one piece of a stone doesn't come?
Yes.
Only by coal beneficiation.
Yes.
That is a global practice.
Yes.
We should go for coal beneficiation. You see, we have 110 million tons of coal beneficiation capacity.
Yes.
We are not even utilizing that. We are utilizing only 65 million tons.
Yes.
Because the purchasers or coal users are not prepared to pay for
So,
that.
but what you're saying is that third party sampling is no solution?
You see, any sampling,
any kind of
sampling,
sampling,
unless you attack the basic problem.
Yes. Sir, there is a very industry quoted anecdote, and since we are, and somebody, sir, as somebody who's a veteran of the public sector and then the private sector, Upendra Kumarji, I would like to ask you, there is a joke in the industry that the secretary who sits in Delhi can give orders that I want clean coal and third party sampling happen. The PSU chairman can give orders in his office that I want clean quality coal to go. But the general manager, if he so decides that clean quality coal will not go, it will not go. Do you think that is
Poor general manager can't do anything.
okay?
He can't do anything unless you change the basic concept.
Okay.
The basic concept is beneficiated coal should be dispatched so that there is uniformity about the coal quality. You see, try to understand, there is a wagon containing 60 tons of coal. There are 100 pieces of stone in that.
Yes.
It's small pieces,
Yes.
which can't even be seen by the naked eye.
Okay.
Now, when you draw the sample, if one piece of stone goes there, the sample results gets vitiated.
Okay.
If that stone piece doesn't go there,
Okay.
the sample results comes to be all right.
Okay.
Now, how to ensure that one piece doesn't go?
Okay.
So you see, unless you make the quality consistent
Okay.
by beneficiation, by washing, you can't achieve
Okay,
that.
I'm taking Ranjeet Mehta ji on this issue. Ranjeet Mehta ji, before you come in with your comment, I would like to raise a point with you. NTPC had held up payments and withheld as much as 3,035 crore last year against coal supplied by Coal India Limited and its subsidiaries. So you can understand the seriousness of the problem that a PSU, the largest power producer in the country, says, okay, I am not paying you because you supply me some, what you can say, inferior quality of coal against the promised supply. Anyways, I am overpaying you. So how serious is this problem? Now it's one public sector and the largest power producer in the country raising this issue.
You see, quality as it is very important. I agree with the former coal secretary who is here in the discussion. I think that it is very important that if they really want to do it, that the coal, only the best coal will go from here, it is possible. So it's a question of, setting up the processes. It's a question of setting up the parameters. If those parameters and all those processes, I don't believe that it is not possible to really send the good quality coal from the mines. It's a question of, taking the ownership and setting up the parameters and quality checks in different points and making a process ready for sending the coal out, the best coal out. Once they really decide to do it, I mean, it is quite possible. There's nothing which is impossible in this world. I mean, the government has, so beautifully in last 2 years, they have done the auctioning. And Coal India, as I told you, like the 32 millions of tons of coal in 2014-15, which is a sharp rise in last 40 years. Yes. So these things are also quite possible. So the only thing is we don't have to only focus on quantity. We will have to focus on quality really to get the best results.
Okay, I take your point.
Then only
I take your point. Alok Patilji, Coal Secretary wants to come in.
Yeah.
Yes, Alok Patilji, what point?
I think what my friend is saying is right, that we need to, inculcate this kind of culture right from the bottom, both together with the kind of setups that you want, the kind of infrastructure that you want, and the training maybe. But the point which is very disturbing, and I want to bring this to your notice, and to notice of the two panelists, is that when NDPC talks about grade slippage, it is saying that I am getting inferior coal.
Yes.
But when we talk about beneficiation of coal, it is not willing to take better coal.
And why is that, sir?
It says that the price goes up.
Yes.
Now, it seems that prior to January 2012, these disputes were hardly there. That means the previous system, we have not changed the coal, we have only changed the system of grading.
Yes.
If the system of grading is becoming so an issue, if you make the grading finer, then you are really pointing out, and I must tell you one thing, that over the last 3 years, the number of cases of grade slippages have gone down.
Yes.
It's not that Coal India is not doing anything. Coal India is taking action.
So you mean there is a significant improvement,
there is
but
a
not
significant,
up to the expectation?
It is not up to the expectation, and in the case of NTPC,
yes,
I am little doubtful whether they really want to go back to the old system, and that is being the reason.
Okay, I take your point, sir. I'm going to Upendra Kumarji at this point. Sir, I want to ask you, the Power Ministry had earlier alleged that stones and boulders were still being dispatched to power plants. Yeah. They said, don't give us stones and boulders, we asked for coal, give us coal.
Correct.
Sir, somebody who's virtually spent his whole life working in coal mines, then going to the position of chairman of a public sector undertaking, sir, what is the solution?
You see, they have started crushing all the coal,
yes,
so boulders will not go.
Okay.
You see, there was a delay in ensuring that the boulders don't go,
yes,
but that has been more or less achieved. When the entire coal is crushed, the boulders will not go.
Yes.
But so far as stone is concerned,
yes,
I again say, I mean, irrespective of whatever has been said by Mr. Mehta, you see, I mean, we must appreciate and we must recognize the technical realities. Just by saying that the finest coal will come,
yes,
how shall finest coal will come? You see, when you use a 45 cubic meter dragline,
yes,
or a 40 cubic meter excavator, it can't take out 1 centimeter thickness of a stone separately.
yes,
It will come together with coal. So you wash it to remove that 1 centimeter stone.
yes.
Only then it will be possible.
And washeries are being set up by the government.
Correct. You see, Coal India is spending something like 1,000 crores, or rather more than that, for setting as many as 21 washeries.
Yes.
But then the consumer must be prepared to pay.
Yes. For the washed coal.
For the washed coal. That is where the problem is coming, as Mr. Patil
The consumer is not ready to pay for it.
Not ready to pay, yes.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I take that as a point. I'm going to...
but again, I would like to repeat,
yes,
unless the technical problem is recognized,
yes,
there cannot be any solution to this problem.
Okay, okay. I'm going to Ranjeet Mehta ji at this point. Ranjeet Mehta ji, what is the solution, or what are the expectations of the industry on this issue?
You see, number one, there is no question, there is no two doubts, there are no two minds if you talk of quality. You have to have the quality, and for quality you have to pay more. If you really want to have quality, you have to pay more. Now, I mean, today, if you see our discoms, they are in a bad shape. Okay. Now, these power suppliers, they are also not getting from the discoms also, the money from the discoms. Now, this is a whole, vicious circle of problems which is there. The government has done a lot in reforming the power sector. Once I think this Uday scheme, which has been announced, after this the discoms will be revitalized, and they'll come, they'll get rid of the bad debts, or they'll get rid of the bad debts and all. Then I think that the whole system will be improved, and there is no doubt about the quality. Quality has to be there, and without quality we will not get good results. So
okay, I'm taking a point. I'm going to Alok Partizit for 2 comments, and then I take his comment that now problems in coal grade slippage will not happen because we'll check coal not at the loading point but at the unloading point. So, if there is any problem of any mischief, that will not happen. So that was said, and that was a very popular statement that now we see the third party will check it when you unload it and then payment will be made. Even then, the results, crushing of coal has started happening, as Coal Secretary Anil Swarupji said. They are now crushing and setting, but quality still remains an issue. And even after you check it at the unloading point, it still is an issue. And then in conjugation with that, I want to ask you the meeting of the Additional Dispute Resolution Mechanism Committee on the resolution of disputes between state electricity agencies and Coal India and its subsidiaries relating to third-party sampling and grade slippage happened on the March 29, 2016, and there were subsequent meetings. So meetings are going on, talks are on. When will we see results? And is it very difficult to arrive at this conclusion? Or if companies are ready to pay higher cost, you see that supplying better quality of coal or promised quantity of coal will never be an issue?
Well, third-party sampling has been suggested even way back in 2012-13, and it was implemented, started from that point.
Yes.
It was mainly with the NTPC and in Coal India. This issue was always there that the coal should be taken, sample should be taken at the user's end and not at the supplier's end. As I said, nobody can guarantee the degradation that can take place in the passage on transportation. The normal system of supply, when you import coal, normally they tell you that this is the kind of grade that is there, and this is, but there is one difference.
Yes.
You pay on an LOC basis, the letter of credit, and the moment the ship is loaded, certain amount goes back. It's already cut off from your bank.
Yes.
And when it comes here, they do the testing at your end.
Yes.
And then readjust whatever is required.
Yes.
If you have a system like this, then Coal India doesn't lose money. But if you hold up the money,
yes,
to say, okay, I'm going to test it at the end and then give it, there will always be disputes.
So, what would be your closing comment on today's discussion as a whole? How do we improve things?
What I would say is that we must acknowledge the fact that in the future, when we are going in for higher technology in terms of power generation, when you are talking of supercritical and ultra supercritical power plants, then the quality of coal that is needed will be higher.
Okay.
And if we don't shift to that, then we are basically trying to unnecessarily delay our target achievement in terms of carbon emissions.
Yes.
If that has to be achieved, the answer really lies 100% washing or beneficiation of coal to improve the quality.
100% washing and beneficiation?
Yes, it is required. You may have a pithead plant, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
But if you want to run a pithead plant at like a supercritical power plant or ultra supercritical power plant,
yes,
then you need better quality coal.
Okay, I take that as your closing comment for today's discussion. I'm going to Upendra Kumarji for his closing comment on today's discussion.
I have repeatedly said it, that the way Indian coal has been formed, you see, you can't get away from the problem of quality, irrespective of the sampling method that you adopt.
Yes.
Till you adopt washing.
Adopt washing.
And that is the only thing which can bring consistency in coal quality. It can then be ensured that if I commit 4,500 kilocalories,
yes,
consumer will get
so
4,500.
washing is an imperative.
Is imperative, and there is absolutely no other way out.
Okay, I take that as your closing comment. I'm going to Ranjeet Mehta ji of PhD, what would be your closing comment for today's discussion?
You see, today even more than 55% of our energy is through fossil fuels. So in this case, we really cannot neglect the quality of the coal. And it's very important that we really use the super critical technology in this. And technology is the answer for the quality of the coal. Until and unless we use the best of the technology and create the checks and balances for checking the quality of the coal, then this problem will not be solved. And we have to solve this problem. We have to give the best quality coal.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us on today's discussion. So as we see it, in the past 2 years, to the credit of Coal India Limited and the Ministry of Coal, the coal production has gone up. As a recent statement made by Coal Secretary Anil Swarupji in an interview to News World India, he also said that crushing of coal has started, and it has indeed started. Coal is being crushed. But now we should move on to bigger and better things to unleash the potential of the sector by ensuring that what grade of coal is promised is delivered to the customer. Thank you so much for joining us on today's discussion.